Okay, in this video I'm going to import a CSV file which contains multiple transactions with payments into Xero. Now the principle is virtually the same for Sage 50 and 200, slight different tag variations, but anyway the principle is the same for other accounting systems. So let's go to examples, and down here we should see we've got file, import transactions from file, blank template. Let's just double click on that to open it up. So here we can see we've got a couple of defaults set at the top. The first one is the bank account number, because if we're going to bring in payments we need to set that. We also need to set them to authorized, and PostTrans a requirement is that you set a default purchase and sales nominal if it should be needed. It will not be needed in this case because basically we're going to bring in either stock items or whatever. We have in row 28 TL posted, which means PostTrans is going to write the status back to row 28. Now I'm going to do some manipulation with formula, so we'll see how this goes. I've prepared a file earlier, and that file actually has a column, headings, date, different types of transactions. Anyway, it's in this CSV file. Let's just ask PostTrans to set up the import file. Let's just go to import file tab. I'm going to change it from B to G. So G is where we're going to bring this into. I happen to know it's actually prefixed with the name PostTrans 2. And it's going to be a single file. It's going to be comma delimited, and it's going to have a text qualifier of quotations. And skip first line. I don't want to skip first line at present because it's got headings in there. It'd be useful if I have those headings. So now we've got the file button enabled at the top here. Let's press file button. And there is my example file, trans2 with payments. So that's brought that into the template. It's also included the headers, so we can see, the header names. Now, why have I brought it over there and not to the first start of the spreadsheet? Well, there's various things we want to do here. For instance, we've got region as S or N, and we've got tax as 1 or 0. Xero doesn't want tax 0 or 1. It needs to be either set to the name or the code we're going to use. Anyway, we'll progress on that as we move forward. Right, let's start mapping things. So we're going to press the tags button to view our tags, and the first the first column is date. So that's on the header of the transaction. So we click on the header. So that's trans date. Next is the type. So double click on there. We've then got a reference, and then we've got the description. Now the description goes on the lines, so that would be TL desk. Then we've got the overall value. Now we could put the value in the unit price, but this is actually a payment total inclusive of tax. Let's use that. So that will set the total amount of each line, including the tax and the payment amount at the same time. So next we've got the payment ref. Let's just type payment pay ref in there. Next we've got the account code. So this is a bit of a strange one because that is actually specified on the transaction header as TH contact. Then we've got contact name, so that's CO name. Then we've got region and tax, which we're going to play with in a minute. Then we've got the intention to, I think basically it's all the address, so I can just press shift and highlight all of those by clicking on the top and the bottom and then insert them in. Beautiful, matches up perfectly. So we've got tax and we've got region set. Okay, so let's go back into tags, and the tracking is for the region. Let's set tracking, and the tax code is just here, TL tax code. And of course, if we want to know what all this is, if we press the help button here, it would take you to a nice table on the website which explains in great detail and has links to other pages which may help. So let's be really brave. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a VLOOKUP that's going to change the S and the N and the tax code 1 and 2 to basically what Xero will be happy with. So what I'm going to just do, I'm just going to highlight all of that, and I'm just going to go into data, and I'm going to go group, and that enables me to click there and bring everything side by side and just temporarily hide that. I can unhide it by going ungroup. Okay, so that's hidden that. So we need tax codes. Well, what tax codes? So Xero allows us to actually use a tax code or the actual name of the tax item. So if I press space and tab away, there are all the names. Okay, so let's go in here and we'll get the first one, 20%, and let's just add another sheet. So one will be 20%, and I guess the other one, 0, would be exempt income. So let's click on exempt income. So that's our 0, isn't it? We might want to keep that into some kind of order. Let's just rename that to lookups. So that's created that. Now we've got, what else have we got here? Oh yes, we've got S and N. So our regions in Xero. So effectively Xero has the facility to set tracking. So you can use tracking as like cost centers and departments. So if I space and tab away, you can see there we have a north and a south, a west coast and an east side. Well, anyway, we're just going to set north and south. So we're going to set north and south. So obviously we're going to set N and S. Okay, so I've just Googled VLOOKUP in Google, and basically it requires the value. So the value would be the N or the S in the first, then the table we set up, then the column index within that table, and then basically it's true or false whether we want an exact match. And false, obviously, because we want an exact match, we don't want an approximate match. So first thing to do, I guess, is to just check, and sure enough, basically PostTrans often formats each column as text only. So I'm just highlighting the columns, selecting format cells, and I'm just going to select general, which allows us to put formulas back in. So now if I put equals 23, it equals 23. So now I can type VLOOKUP, and the value we want is the S. The table is our little lookup table. I think we're okay to expand that. So you might put 10 items there. Do we press return? Yes, no. Ooh, didn't like that. Press and return. Then it's the column index, which basically is the number of columns in to get the value, which I think is 2, and then it will be false. What does that give us? Oh, perfect result first time. Oh, not a perfect result, because as we're dragging down, it's moving various values. For instance, the table needs to be set to always be in the same place. Now, what happens is if you highlight these references here and you press F4, you'll see it adds strings to there, which means that that value won't change as you drag it down. Let's press return. Let's now drag that down, and fingers crossed it has worked perfectly. So if I now, well, I might as well, I'm so good at this, I might as well just do the second one. No, that was really good. Let's type VLOOKUP. Hang on a minute, let's just go back actually, because I said that's just 2 in there without explaining it. So what that means is, it means which column within the table. And I think we defined that bit as the column, as the table. So this is column 1 and that's column 2. So that's how we got that information out. So let's go in here and we're just going to type VLOOKUP, and we're going to base that on that tax code, and then we're going to select the table. And if we select more columns than more rows than we need, then we've got future expansion. Now I'm just going to tab away, doesn't like that because, and haven't made the mistake already, we can highlight that and press F4 and then press F4 on that one. So now we've got $, which stops the references moving. And again, we want column 2 and we want an exact match, so that's false. And we press return. And now we have mapped our values, our tax values from an older system to PostTrans. So that is absolutely spiffing, as they say in England quite regularly. Now, of course, the problem with that is we could overwrite those formula. What we can do in PostTrans is if we go to the PostTrans toolbar and we press the tags button, go to the cell properties, we can actually say store the current formula. And if I press that and do that there, now what that's just done is all it's done is it's moved the formula to row 27. And if you watch my video on clearing the transaction, you'll know that row 27 enables me to put a load of X's in, and when I press the clear button, it will clear the contents down. Now, of course, those formulas are not very happy because they've actually been put in a place where the references don't quite work. So that's why they go NA, or they might say error. But nonetheless, that's where they're stored. So we can now save that because we're happy. So now we've saved that. So what are we going to do next? Let's clear the spreadsheet down. And you can see now PostTrans has copied all those formulas down the spreadsheet. Now if we press File Import, we can see it's brought it in and applied the translation using our formula. Of course, we've still got this row here bringing in the header values. So let's just go back into the settings and we'll do all of that again, but this time we'll say skip the first row, in which case now that row should disappear, and PostTrans will do the clear automatically now as I import. So now we should just see the data is now correct. There we go. So basically we've translated 2 older codes to new codes, and obviously we could add more values to these lookups if we wanted, and then we can import and whoops, we've deleted our bank account from the top there, so we need to make sure that wasn't cleared. I think that was authorized. We need to set I think it's 200 and 300. Yeah, and normally we wouldn't really want them to be cleared, so we'd say no, I don't want that clearing, or that, or that, or that. Cool. So now let's save that template down. I think now we'd have a successful import. There we go, and I would probably say, okay, just do the whole lot. Oh, it doesn't like that tracking number because it thinks it's something to import. That's a shame. Oh, I see the problem with it. It's because it's a purchase invoice and we're actually setting it as exempt income, which is it's not the right tax code, is it? But anyway, you probably wouldn't want to bring in purchase invoices as well as sales invoices, but you would handle that then with extra functionality in the formula, I guess. But that certainly shows you how you can manipulate the data before importing. So as you'd expect, if I double click on that transaction, I can see it within Xero. It's probably one of these. Excellent.